everyone. Welcome to another Getting Personal with Susan and Cristina, Trustworthy Tuesdays. So we are almost midway through November, and Susan and I are still trying to figure this live stream thing out. So please, thank you for being patient with us, and we hope that you continue to follow our journey. Susan, jump in.
Yeah, so we had a little bit of a problem because, as some of you know, at least if you're following, I am in Antarctica, cruise ship Expedition X, and this challenge this time, even though we promised you we'd be on of the hour, and trust is everything about doing what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. And here we are. I have sporadic internet, can't show you my face, and can't go on video if you want to hear me. So for that, we appreciate your patience and in trust from now on, we're going to know so that you know when to tune back. I apologize, but right and heard amazing. This has been a lesson in trust.
Perfect. I love that. And I think we said in our very first live stream that we are always on opposite ends of the world somewhere. So come December, I will likely be also literally on the other side of the world in Australia, working from there for a little bit and visiting family and friends. Yeah. Also, please apologize. Being vulnerable with all of you, I had a wicked gym workout this morning, and I'm still red in the face. So you're experiencing the after effects of that.
So,
all right.
So yeah.
No, jump in.
Yeah. So I'm wondering when I talked today with us, I much but we do connect hospitality and how very much is learning us and as I'm on this cruise ship, and I'm not a person, it's the second one I've taken, I'm learning a lot in what to what we talk about and then applying it to workplace and in how that works. So I don't know about diving into something like that for this, brief amount of time that we have together.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think when we think about hospitality and experience and how I think maybe 5-7 years ago, there was a discussion around resi-mercial, the combination of like this residential commercial experience. And now it's not something new, it's expected that we will think about hospitality and we will think about the whole person experience as they walk and experience life, but walk in and through space.
Right. And if I take and I think that it gets to the workplace, it started for me with the sales process, not even being on the ship. I had this is my second Hurtigruten cruise, and then I went to Svalbard last year with them, and I got to know the salesperson, and so again, our clients get to know us in the sales process, right? Like, what is that touch point? And how do we build rapport? And I'd say they were great at building rapport, understanding what we were looking for, listening, showing empathy, hearing my fears at my age, doing some of this stuff seems a little to me challenging, but to them, you can do it. And I trusted that they were right about it. And it started with the building rapport and getting to know me on the front end. How often do we get to know our teammates, our clients, our management, our leaders? You don't have to be a leader to get to know your employees, but employees also have a role in that, right? How do you get to know your leader? How do you manage up in order to build that trust? So I see a lot of that in the cruise, in terms of it started with the amazing sales process.
It's interesting that it started at that sales process. So it's almost like they welcomed you and they invited you in before you were even really knew what you fully signed up for, before you really knew what risks you'd be taking on your adventures and your expeditions. Because ultimately, I mean, I've seen some of your photos, Susan, and you're doing some like pretty wild stuff I've never done as well. So I love that it started at the sales process, right? There was something about how the cruise and the sales team marketed that experience, that life experience for you and what you could expect, and coming from a place of credibility.
Right. And I think so for those of you that don't know, Christina and I do workshops and coaching around trust. And we research this process where, the group we were working with talked about how do you build trust with the client, and how do you build that rapport, step back, not just jump into really getting to know the person with on some level, doing that else right now. You're a person, you're getting to know each other instead of being looked at like I'm the salesperson. It works because once you align and find something that you have in common and something that you really, then voila, you get to, you're on your second herd. Pretty easy moment to think about it.
Susan, I've got to let you know, I love what you said, but you also broke up here and there. So you were like fast and then slow and then fast. So hopefully that came through clearly for everyone else. I hope it did. Um,
No.
um, yeah, you know what? I agree with you. No, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, I think what's interesting about sales is, often sales can be really, really scary for people to think that they've got not only a quota that they must meet, but to reach out and build relationships with people that they've never met before. And that can be really, really scary for people. And so I think the workshop that we did with a group of business owners who were trying to further grow their business, learn how to build rapport, learn how to sell more confidently. It was actually a really powerful session, and there were little things that we discussed in how to build rapport that they never thought had to do with sales at all. Right? When you really listen to what the other person
Right.
says, when you really ask them, like, really, how are you? Or are you okay? Or can I take you for coffee? Those little things they didn't realize is a whole part of sales because you're building rapport.
Right. And then I would say, again, using Hurtigruten as my current example, because I am in the middle of nowhere. I mean, you could look out my window, like we're in the middle of like the ocean and going to the mainland. And I think when I think about that, it starts with the sales process, but that has to work in sync with the hospitality folks, the expedition folks, the it has to be in sync. I think I learned early that your sales process experience is how you can to experience once the project starts. So if you have a really rough sales process and they don't care about you, don't feel like have your back, often that is how your project's going to go. So you've got to be aligned. I think we talk a lot about trust and being consistent and showing up and and delivering with confidence and expertise, like with the sales process. And I think Hertiger does that really well. It started with the sales process And for the expedition team here to get me to snowshoe and kayak in the middle of Antarctica and have the confidence that if something happened, they were going to like get me out of trouble, they delivered exactly it. So exactly like the salesperson did. So how often do we start a sales process in corporate world? Project team deliver exactly as the salesperson did. You know, often operations and sales are disconnected. And what does that do with trust?
It just, yeah. If it's not connected, it erodes it. You're spot on. You're spot on. They've designed an experience for you that is consistent throughout, and they have obviously upskill and provided training and learning for their whole crew on how to continue to reinforce that trust and how to show up when their
Mm-hmm.
guests have questions. Um, I love that. So I'm wondering, what are you expecting at the end of the trip? Like, how can they come back?
You know what it does? It makes me want to look at another expedition cruise with them. I mean, that's what it does. So again, we talk about all the research shows that when in fact you have a trustworthy environment, people, it's easier to sell. People want to come back. It's repeat business. It's all that stuff. I mean, that's what we're doing. We're sitting here now going, which cruise do we want to do next? And now, honestly, they don't have to spend any money or time marketing us because we've already have, we understand we trust that whatever we do with them, they're going to follow through, come through brand promises. And so yeah, so that's what I'm watching market. I'm here with my husband. I'm watching us now talk about, oh, do we want to go to Greenland? Do we want to go to the Galapagos? Like, what do we want to do next? Because we've had such a great trustworthy experience and have done things we never ever imagined we would do in our lives. And we did it safely and it was fun. And so yeah, that brand promise repeat, right? You want your clients to do another project with you. You want your clients to call you when they have a problem and they need they to talk it through. You want to become their,
I love that. Yeah. So tying it as well, continuing to tie it back to workplace, I recently went to Work Tech with the JLL team, and there was an incredible presentation about the new Google headquarter here in New York. And what I loved about that is that they spoke about service design. And I I know experience is important, but the structure that they talked about to explain how to develop a service, like how to design a service for operations to ensure that experience is actually stood up at every single touch point for a visitor or for one of their employees. That was incredible, and it feels like that's what your cruise company has done as well. Like, super intentional, thought about all of the touch points that you as a guest would experience.
and when you talk about alignment, you want to work with people that are aligned with your values. Got rid of plastic years ago. They put women in leadership. They really promote a lot of the things that kind of where people that come onto this mission are people that have a lot in common anyway. So we care about connecting body, mind, spirit, and we care about getting out and doing some really cool things. We care about the environment. Leaders group of people on the ship, and we all love to travel. So now so that's the alignment, right? We're not about any particular care about these things. don't care about a casino or don't care about it at night, our entertainment at night, looking at what we're going to do tomorrow, and learning, right, we learned about krill, you know, it's who that, but most of the world would not. So it's a self-selected group of people, which also makes it really fun.
I love that. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm thinking I'm really choppy because you're.
Yeah, and I feel really bad because I'm loving this conversation, but I can also just imagine what it's like for those who are listening because it is quite choppy.
So what I will do is I will ice a ship if there's a place where the internet is stronger for next week, because where we're down here, I
Dill.
and it's a truth. So we definitely want to keep these going. And if I can't find better internet, Cristina, then I think maybe we come up with Plan B for next Tuesday, and I'll hand it off to you. Because what I really want to do is connection between the customer experience, hospitality, and workplace experience seen in our lives work, because I think there's a lot of trust that is built into both.
Yeah, you're spot on. There is so much that we can learn from the hospitality industry, not just the travel and the cruises, but the hotels, the retail, the theater. There are so many different types of experiences that incorporate the best of hospitality and experience that we can learn from and further bring into the workplace. So I'm really excited to continue this conversation next week and talk about more ways that we can think about supercharging the workplace with experience in hospitality. Nice. Okay. All right. So since we're a little choppy, we might end a little early today. But thank you so much for following. We really do appreciate you. And again, this is what I think our second or third live stream. So we're still figuring this out, but we appreciate you. And please jump in the comments and let us know also what you're interested in hearing about. And we will make sure to cover that next time. I appreciate you all, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thanks all.